எனக்கு அவர் ஃபேஸ் பார்த்தோம்னா தெரிஞ்சிரும்.
I think iPhone தான் நினைக்கிறேன் மேம்.
அட்மிட் பண்ணு, எனக்கு ஃபேஸ் பார்த்தோம்னா தெரிஞ்சிரும்.
Gayatri ma'am, now it's live ma'am.
Sir, hello sir.
Ma'am, now it's live ma'am. YouTube live is enabled ma'am.
Yes sir, yeah, I saw. Thank you sir.
Ma'am, to whom I am have to make it as host ma'am?
Nandini.
Okay ma'am.
R Nandini. Thank you so much sir. Ma iPhone allow பண்ணிட்டியா? Ma HOD sir வந்துட்டாரு.
HOD sir
admit பண்ணிட்டேன்.
அப்ப ரஞ்சித் நம்ம பழைய ப்ரோகிராம் தான் சரியா?
Okay ma'am, okay change.
sir வந்துட்டாரு.
Sure.
Ma iPhone தான் அந்த கெஸ்ட் வந்துட்டாரு ma. Sir, good evening sir, Balaji sir. Sir, you have to unmute sir. Balaji sir, you have to unmute.
Yes, can you hear me now?
Yeah. Ma iPhone is the guest ma. Welcome sir, welcome.
Welcome. Yes. Thank you so much. Yes.
So another 2 minutes we will start sir. Ma
Yes,
YouTube
no.
link போட்டுருங்க ma. YouTube link போட்டுருங்க இதுல நம்ம குரூப்ல. Welcome participants. We'll just start in 5 minutes. The program you can watch it in YouTube live also. The YouTube link is being put up in the Acharya group. I'll also forward the YouTube link to the resource person. Nandini, can you put the link in your Acharya group, YouTube link?
Ma'am, that number has been entered room ma'am. 1 2 3. 1 2 3 3 2 1. Kindly ring it.
Vanda.
Okay ma'am.
Anyway, we have to let in the
Okay,
guest. The guest is already come in. Hereafter, only with names you will let them inside. Without the names, you don't let anybody inside.
Okay ma'am.
From next time onwards, we will give the instruction itself when along with the registration. You should enter only with a name.
That should be better, ma'am.
Yes.
Unnecessary namakka idu venda.
Unnecessary problem. Sir,
Yes.
HOD sir, Ketila sir.
Hello.
Okay,
Yes,
okay.
madam.
Fine sir, fine sir. Once the guest comes into the screen, we will start. My YouTube link போட்டீங்களா ma?
Ma'am, Shibu is putting.
ஷிபு போட்டாளா? ஏன்னா நான் அது போட்டோன்னே நான் கெஸ்ட்டுக்கு ஃபார்வர்ட் பண்ணிடுறேன் அதுக்குதான். So shall we start, sir? HOD sir.
Yes.
Okay, madam. We shall start.
Yes. Sir, Balaji sir, can we start?
Yes, we can go ahead. Yes, please.
Yeah. Ranjit?
Yes ma'am.
Yes.
Joe Penna once said, every single person I know who is successful at what they do is successful because they love doing it. Ladies and gentlemen, good evening and a warm welcome to all to the session 2 of Acharya, the MDP series. Acharya, as the name specifies, refers to a teacher and an influential mentor. Today, we have with us a young and a vibrant Acharya, Mr. Balaji Jayaraj, founder of BJ360, a young and energetic professional who has helped shape the personal and professional lives of many people. He's a person who likes to pursue what his heart desires and who continuously tries to better himself. With these words, I request Dr. S. Keshavan, HOD Department of Management Studies, SRM Institute of Science and Technology, Vadapalani, to welcome the virtual gathering.
Thank you, Ranjit. Good evening to one and all present here. I, on behalf of the Department of Management Studies, SRM Institute of Science and Technology, Vadapalani campus, extend a cordial welcome to one and all present for the second series of the MDP program organized by our department. At the outset, I feel very happy in welcoming the guest speaker, the young and energetic personality, Mr. Balaji Jayaraj, founder BJ360 Chennai. I welcome you, sir, on behalf of the department and the Institute of Science and Technology, Vadapalani campus, sir. I also extend a cordial welcome to all the participants across the Tamil Nadu, and our alumni, and also the students, present students of MBA department. I extend a warm welcome to the faculty members of our department and the faculty members who have joined from across various colleges in Tamil Nadu. This is the second series conducted by our department. First one already we completed. This is the second one. This session is titled as creative. It's titled as the creative and critical thinking. Creative and critical thinking, a recipe for innovation. It is not only a recipe for innovation, it is also a recipe for success. I hope the young speaker will take you all to greater heights, the enthrall all the audiences by giving his inputs to become a creative and critical thinkers and to achieve your career dreams in a better manner. This session will be more useful for the students of management because the present generation or the present scenario requires more creative thinking and more critical thinking is required. Hope this session will be more useful for all the participants. Once again, extend a warm welcome to 1.5% here. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Now we have a video presentation about the college and a curtain raiser from our resource person.
Mohan Sundari, can we have the video? Mohan Sundari?
I'm playing, ma'am.
Yes.
Is it getting played?
1 minute, 1 minute.
No, ma'am.
Play at the ma'am.
It is yet to open.
Mohana, stop sharing. No, I'll try. Ma'am, share agleya?
Illamma.
Okay.
Sir Balaji sir, I sent the YouTube link to you, sir.
Okay. Where did you send it? It's on WhatsApp,
Yes.
is it?
Is it sharing?
Yes,
Share.
yes, yes. So we welcome you to Acharya, the series 2 by Mr. Balaji Jairaj, founder BJ360. We take you to our campus, SRM Institute of Science and Technology, Vadapalani, very close to the Coimbatore bus stand and the metro station. It is centrally located in the heart of the city. We have a beautiful campus with all infrastructure facilities, the labs, the electronics and communication lab, the computer science lab. This is our beautiful library where you have plenty of books, our mechanical engineering lab, and our MBA classes handled by one of our faculty. These are our MBA students. And this is our MBA computer lab. And the faculty members of the MBA department. Presenting to you the department Acharya, we have the guest for the day, Mr. Balaji Jairaj, a young and an energetic person who has received so many awards at this very young age, who has done his studies in major countries, and he's been recognized as one of the top educationists. And we feel it's our honor and privilege to welcome Balaji sir for our program. Mohan Sundari will go to the program. We'll go to the program.
Yes, ma'am, we can go.
Yeah. Ranjit, you can invite Nandini ma'am.
Yes, ma'am. Yes. To be inspired is great, but to be an inspiration is an honor. I request Dr. R. Nandini, Faculty Department of Management Studies, to introduce the resource person of the day, Mr. Balaji Jairaj.
Thank you, ma'am, and thank you, Ranjit. Creativity is seeing what others see and thinking what no one else has ever thought. It is a moment of privilege having to introduce one of the notable personality who's well versed in changing the people's personality and the mindset and steer towards them towards the success. Welcome, sir, to the session despite of your packed schedule. Mr. Balaji Jairaj, a first-class graduate of Bachelor in Computer Application from the Loyola College, Chennai, India in the year 2009, he got engaged in his family business, the mobile retail industry, SB Cell World, Chennai, after his graduation. But his thirst never stopped with that. To enhance his knowledge and to gain international exposure, he pursued his MBA Global Business with Coventry University London campus in the year 2010-11 with merit. Returning to Chennai, he started his new venture, Spatikam, overseas education, training, and consultancy to guide several Indian students to achieve their dream of gaining higher education abroad. To gain further international experience in a more challenging situation, Balaji Jairaj traveled to Dublin, Ireland in the year 2014 to pursue his second postgraduate degree, Master of Science in Management Practice with scholarship at the Dublin Business School with second class honors. He was also awarded as the best Indian student of Dublin Business School in the year 2016 by Ambassador of Ireland at his Embassy of Ireland residence, New Delhi. Mr. Jairaj strongly believes that continuous learning is the key to self-development and has a great interest and thirst for innovation and contributing to the global education community constantly. So he took his PhD research in the subject area, high performance of organization with Lincoln University College, Malaysia in the year 2017. In the same year, he got a new idea in the area of personal and professional development and he branded his organization as BJ360. At first, BJ360 was recognized by the Coventry University London campus under the guidance of tutor Carol Phil. The official BJ360 was launched, followed by BJ360 was recognized by the Vice Chancellor, Dr. Amir of Lincoln University College, Malaysia, and awarded as the International Youth Icon in the year 2019. BJ360 has won the Best Entrepreneur Alumni 2019 award by Enterprise of Ireland at Mumbai, India. Same year, Balaji Jairaj was nominated and honored as Top 100 Leaders in Education by Global Forum for Education and Learning. Welcome, sir, to be amidst us to share your rich knowledge in grooming the personality of people. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. I now request our resource person, Mr. Balaji Jairaj, to take over the session.
Thank you. Thank you for the wonderful introduction. Can you all hear me?
Yes, sir.
Is it audible? Yes. Possible audible? Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
We can hear you, sir. We can hear you.
Yes. Thank you so much. So I can proceed, right?
Yes, sir.
Yes. Thank you. Thanks. I really feel really proud and happy to be part of this MDP program. As it was said by the Professor Gayatri, and it was officially given invitation about this initiative. It's a great initiative at this time of pandemic, that the great effort has been put by the whole faculties, teaching staffs and non-teaching staffs for organizing this MDP program and connecting all of the corporate leaders and academic leaders, everyone, all under one roof, through this online portal. And it's going to be it's not only one way of sharing, I'm also getting to know about you all at this point of contact. Once again, I thank you so much for the wonderful introduction and all your creative thoughts. I can see the creativity within this itself, within the faculties, which have been put in so much of effort in organizing this wonderful MDP program. So moving on, because I don't know who are all participating on this, but I make sure that more of corporate peoples, even the students from the SRM University and even the students from various institutions have been part of this program.
Sir, we have people from corporate, academicians and students. All of them are there, sir.
It's good to know that. Yes. And basically, when this topic, we say creative and critical thinking, to me, creative is all about the lifestyle, what we lead today. It's a lifestyle of a person, of a personality, how he carries himself. First thing, I know in this time of situations of our lifestyle, we all go to school, college, or work, or any kind of an environment we work. But none of us know that our lifestyle creates a biggest changeover in our work environment or whatever we do. It was interestingly, an author says, Mullins, as you all know about that theory, the social need. Which about, he says, the basic need is about the lifestyle, what we all do. Lifestyle is what the social connect and the social needs, what we all live today. And secondly, is about the psychological connect. For example, how many of you start your day like early in the morning? Because as the few leaders state about even Abdul Kalam, he says the starting of your day.
Sorry to interrupt, sir.
So can you,
Lavanya,
yes.
Sorry to interrupt.
Yes,
Lavanya, kindly mute SRM PAT VDP. Please mute SRM PAT VDP. Yes, Lavanya?
Ma'am, that's me, ma'am. I'm muting it by myself.
Okay. Yeah.
I'm just muting it.
Okay, sir, fine.
Yes, I think there's some interruption. That's fine anyway. Yes, I was putting all together. Yes. Yes, can you hear me now? It's fine?
Yes, sir, it's fine, sir. We can hear you, sir. Thank you, sir.
Yes. Yes, I was about to say about the lifestyle I was talking about. Firstly, I would like to start up with saying that a few leaders' quotes like Abdul Kalam, what he says that the day you start early, you get the one day as 48 hours. Like it says that it's a 2 days time you get to do your activities. That I strongly believe in starting our day early as possible. So on that note, you get the enough time space to engage yourself into activities, preferably not only to the activities which you are already engaged, or also you can show interest to the activities which you have existing or starting up a new idea or a new task. So you find time for that. Even now, when I was brought up from a boarding school. So my day starts from 5. And it was like a routine where there is a resourceable, manageable connect of self-evaluating us. I was put up in a boarding school at the age of 12. So at that point of time, it was very hard for me to know what life is all about. So then later on, I realized that the importance of timings about waking up early and starting your day early. And each thing has followed because it was like a timetabled schedule. Like 5 a.m. I wake up. We focus on fitness, like taking care of ourselves, our health and well-being. was very, very important that point of time. Secondly, it was all about the morning nutrition we focused. The school has given me that importance to that on time. And then the activities has been started. The school life starts. Then after the school life, it was like evening, we wind up by 3 or 4, the school time. And they make sure that we engage in any part of game or sport activity to make ourselves physically active. Even the morning we focus 1 hour, and the evening even 1 hour we focus on the fitness. So that made me and groomed me up to think clearly about what we can go about next. It brought me, so as I was introduced to you all as saying that I'm young and dynamic and energetic. So it did not come overnight. It was happened on because of my school life, where it was scheduled from the childhood of my lifestyle. So that is where I find the gap to think or to spend more time on myself, on where I am and what I am. So with that idea, we proceeded and we started doing all that undergraduate, postgraduate, all that's a big story about that. So moving on from there, coming precisely to the topic of creative and critical thinking, since it's not going to be the interactive session, so I'm going to only share my views. So I can understand that it's very difficult to interact in this platform. So to me, creativity is just a question, like how we can come up with a creativity. Creativity is something which a person always, there is a lot of difference between creativity and a dream. A person dreams, but creativity is something which is asking to yourself that is this possible to bring that creativity into the practical business world or a social world. Obviously, we all have creativity, but we stop at one point hesitating that, will this be possible when I go into the social world? Will I put this idea in social world? What happens? We don't have plan A, plan B, plan C. We only have a plan A, which says that we can go to the practical world. So being creative, anyone can be creative, but there is also a research says from a recent journal from McKinsey and Company, creativity can be learned as a program. Is there any specific programs which teaches us how to think creative? Few authors, even few researchers, even few scientists have been trying to prove their research in the area of creativity, like a person or an individual can learn creativity as a part of program and be a creative person, or its creativity happens naturally. To me, the creativity, even though there is a lot of research or paperwork on process, if you ask me, the creativity is all about the time you spend on yourself, on you. It's all about how you know yourself first. That is, we underpin the statement called self-evaluation and self-analysis. We all learn subjects. Even schools, they teach science programs, physics, chemistry, mathematics. Even in MBA, we got various of modules like strategic management, resource management, whatever it is. But when we prioritize our timings and ourselves and our lifestyle and give ourselves a time to ourselves is most important factor to be creative. There starts a creative. Just I was going through an article when I was prepared to speak on this area of topic. It's a very, very recent article. They say that creative and critical thinking leads to innovation. But there are innovation says that innovation has a DNA. As every human being has got a DNA. At the same point, innovation has also got a DNA. That I'll speak to you about what is that DNA, what they're trying to specify in that. Before that, we spoke little, I spoke about little about the creativity. But when it comes to critical thinking, is that creative and critical thinking is interlinked? There is also a question about that. As I mentioned earlier, creativity can be learned. How it can be learned? It's still ongoing research, but is not even proved with any of the human beings or any individual that individual can learn creativity. But there is interesting thing which I can quote you now is the critical thinking can be improved with our programs. The University of Manchester in UK, they've did few surveys on critical thinking, like how critical thinking can be a part of a program in management or any course or a studies or which can be implemented in university, improving critical thinking. In that survey, they mentioned few key points about what the programmers have been planned in terms of implementing critical thinking. Firstly, they say about what I told in the start of my speech about the lifestyle what we lead. How many of us allocate time space for ourselves? That is what they have told in that is called self-awareness. Be self-aware. Understand your mental process. This is what the second thing they have mentioned. And develop a foresight, a forecast. Practice active learning. Ask questions. Evaluate existing evidence. These are all they have listed down. But how these can be attained? For example, taking about self-awareness, to me, but they have not gone further on it. They have only mentioned these are all things enhances critical thinking. But how these 5 or 4 listed factors can lead you to critical thinking? Because there is no proven survey on that. But to me, when I did further research on that, what do you mean by self-awareness to improve our critical thinking? Many of the authors and many of the researchers, when we browse or find in journal articles, have quoted or said, consider your thought process. Nothing else. It's all about the simple thing which we do in MBA is your SWOT analysis. But SWOT analysis just not mentioning 4 points in strength and 4 points in weaknesses. But going further in SWOT analysis is all about, we call internal SWOT analysis, which we feel as strength, weakness, we listed down. But going a little more further in that, when we list down strength, 4 key points, or weaknesses, 4 key points. For example, we say weakness, your communication, your oral communication or your body language is your weakness. How do you say that it's your weakness? Have you got any evidence or did anyone tell you that this your body language or your communication is your weakness, or you yourself find out? And where did you find out that? How did you find out that? You need to ask all of these questions to yourself when you put down your internal SWOT. Can you see the critical thinking there happens? It's not about critical thinking. It's not a rocket science that we go outside from your subject area and we study. It's all within your subjects or within yourself. That asking question to yourself, that how do you say your body language? As if, for example, if you say body language is your weakness, how do you say that? Where did you find that? Who told you? These are all the simple questions. If you try to pen down at the answer for all these questions, you are a critical thinker. You're thinking something which makes you to go further. This is all about internally. And that is also called, a term called external. Is all about connecting to people whom you are very close with, like your parents or relatives or cousins or teachers who knows you better. Going to them and asking your strength, weakness, and listing them. Even you can question them if they don't mind, or if they don't get angry, if they have the patience to answer to your questions. For example, if they say that you are a very confident person who goes all the way, anywhere, anytime, good public speaking skill or whatever it is as listed as a strength. If someone says, for example, your teacher says that, or your parent says that, you can ask them, how do you say this? Did you see me anywhere speaking? Or did you see me anywhere? How did you find that? How do you say this is as my strength? You can list down that by asking questions to them. So what happens is when you ask questions to yourself internally, and also you're going outside and asking questions externally, that brings a smart, what you call an MBA also you must have studied, or you must have heard about this term called SMART, being specific, measurable, realistic, and time-based. You're very, very specific now that you know who you are, and you have done a very, very depth internally and externally your SWOT. Now it's high time you mix up both internal and external, and you make a perfect key point of your SWOT. So the key factors of your SWOT is now ready. But before you putting that juice of that SWOT, you have done all these background work. It's a lot of time consuming, but believe me, it's going to change your personality and your way of approach in everything, because you started asking questions to yourself, that what you are, who you are, what comes to you. This will give you that lead to an innovation. I'm coming to that next. Like, as I told you that University of Manchester have mentioned 5 points. First is self-awareness. The second is the mental process. What do you mean by that mental process? When I go to a shopping mall, I see some interesting fact or a shop or a retailer. This we call in my concern at BJ360, we keep as an observation skill, where I take all my candidates to enhance their observation skill. I put them in the streets or put them in the mall to make them understand or observe, ask them. I randomly leave them for 20 minutes, any mall. They can go any floor, any shops. I set the time and ask them to come back to the place where we started. And I'll start asking them that, what did you observe? Some would say that they just observed how many people have walked into the store. Some answer me saying that there's a discount at the store. Some say that I did not notice anything big, the usual. But interestingly, there is nothing called expecting or answers. But to me, and from understanding from few researchers and authors, if a person observes something, you need to have the mental documentation that why it is like this and why cannot be like that. Again, I'm coming to that questioning factor, which I mentioned even in your self-awareness. When you see something as your observation point, immediately a mental blueprint or mental process has to connect, asking these questions like, why it is like this? Why have they made this way? You can give a lot of examples for that, like why the retailer having a logo, this format, or a shop name called Lifestyle, or a Decathlon. How did this brand name come in? Why they've organized the store such a way that, what is the difference between the other retailers and this retailer? Both are selling the same product. If there is a clothing or a sport like Puma, Nike, Adidas, all of these are selling the same sports attire, but what differentiates them? Why is their store setup is something different from other brand? Why Puma is different from Nike? It's all about documenting the questions and coming up with an answer. Maybe that answer is maybe irrelevant, but it helps you as an exercise to increase your or enhance your critical thinking. At the third point, it was mentioned as forecast thinking, the foresight thinking, as the University of Manchester have quoted. What is that forecast thinking like? We all know that we are suffering from this COVID-19 pandemic. But believe me that it's been predicted even before 10 years. That this pandemic is going to hit in 2020. Is this called as a forecast thinking? No. It's all about having an existing thing. For example, if you're already, we are going through certain climatical change or a pandemic or whatever it is. For example, right now we are at COVID-19 pandemic situation. As being a smart individual, taking your time off and thinking ahead, seeing yourself or seeing the social world, what other pandemic or what other situation could arise in the near future. I'm telling for example, but if you're belonging to a particular industry, or if you're an employer, or if you're a student, it even applicable to you. For example, if you're a student, as most of the audience for this occasion, for this MDP, you can always think about like how this program of what your program you're studying at the moment could support you to your career. In what way? You can even ask a question like you must have asked to yourself already. I know that. But what other way you can differentiate the learnings and put that into the practical world? How your learnings could support the social problems, when you try to address the social problems, there you come up as an entrepreneur or neither an innovator. To me, this BJ 360, through all of my survey, I found out that there is some need for the people to develop themselves. They lack in certain areas. I try to make it the learning as most interesting as possible. Personally, from the survey, I found out that there are candidates, they are graduates from aeronautical engineers, civil engineers, any program, pharma or accountant or whatever it is. They were lacking of self-confidence to come up to the dais and say, even if you don't know anything, you can always have the confidence to come to the dais and say, I don't know anything. They have a mindset that if I come to the dais and say, I don't know, what would they think about me? How would my reputation will be? So as a psychologist from Japan, when I met them in GFL event in Dubai, I had a few interaction with them. From them, I understood that it's not about the content or not about the learnings. It's all about you coming to them or coming to the gathering or coming to the dais and expressing and showcasing yourself, saying that this is what I am and this is what is this. There is no standard template that this is the learning is going to lift you up. Even you will also have an opportunity to connect. When you say you don't know anything, you will always have an opportunity to learn from people who are around you. As I said that we have covered three things. The practical active listening is also a key factor, which has been proven in research of Manchester. What do you mean by active listening? We must have heard about that listening skill is most important. Do you think as we all listen? Even me, if you take me that, it's all about your mental strength, because we all run into so many activities in day-to-day life. If someone pops into you and asks you, what's your mom's phone number? Some would remember, but some would say, just check into the phone and give you back the number. It's not about mentally memorizing the phone numbers. It's all about what I'm trying to say is that when you are usually connecting people every day or you're calling and usually in contact every day, we tend to forget their phone contact number as well. Is that because we are not stably, actively quiet and reserved in listening? I'm not saying this has been proved by University of Manchester. Why I'm stressing that research is because that is the latest thing which I have received as a document for critical thinking. The active listening is all about your mental connect. They're connecting psychologically. Just a 30 minutes of meditation. This is an exercise, frankly, to you. The 30 minutes of meditation would support you to be an active listener. Because that makes you calm, that makes you to be a reserved person when someone speaks to you. I practice martial arts, so even You know that martial arts is all about speed and the power, all that it has to be done. But even in martial arts, when we spar with an opponent, like for example, when we fight with an opponent, they teach you to wait, to know the opponent, to wait in sense like what form of attack he's going to give you. What is his strength when he attacks you? We need to hold down to check his strengths before you attack him. It's all about the patience that you can develop by your allocating time to yourself. That is what I was very keen before starting of my speech. I started with lifestyle. Spending quality time for yourself will solve many problems. We can learn so many articles, even many guests will come and speak to you from worldwide. When there are libraries or research, a plenty number of proven documents about critical thinking, creativity, all that. But end of the day, it's all about you spending time to yourself. It matters. I know that many find reasons to spend time for yourself. Many say that when I wanted to exercise or when I go for spending time to myself, it's very hectic. I can't even get back to my professional life when I spend time to myself. If a professional or a person want to go hit the gym, he says that if I go to 2 days of gym and third day I'm not able to work at my office space or at my lifestyle is not been getting along with that. To me, if I want to learn something, I go to a professional. For example, like SRM institution or SRM University is a professionally accredited institution. If I want to learn a management program, I go subscribe myself, register myself and take an admission and learn that. Same way, are we giving importance to our body and mind? We take it for granted. We don't spend that quality to ourselves. We only give quality to education or a work, but end of the day, we forget ourselves. Even many educationalists or education consultant or institution says that how to keep yourself engaged, spending time to yourself. The simple technique of hitting the gym is to just visit the gym first. That is what in UK, in United Kingdom, they don't call as fitness center, they call it as leisure center. There's a lot of difference in the names. Fitness center is hardly comes to our mind saying that it's going to be hardest. We're going to sweat out there. It's going to burn you out, all that. But UK has smartly named it as leisure center. Like you can come down here, leisurely spend time for yourself, taking care of your body. So why am I stretching on this is that because it's actively the University of Manchester for active listening skills, they have jotted down all these personal care aspects. And asking questions is another point. Yes, it's a smart thing to ask questions, but we all forget that asking questions is a term. There is no relevant or irrelevant in asking questions, but you need to know when to ask, how to ask, and where to ask the question. There differentiates between asking randomly to a person or a professional or an expert. So understanding the situation and asking or throwing a question changes the response you get from the experts. For example, I usually brought up from a community of business. My dad is a business guy, a hard-earned business guy, but he made me to get exposed to international school life and college life and internationally UK-based education, Ireland-based education. He made me to see worldwide. Even now, I keep traveling just for learning and understanding people's culture. When I said that there is time to ask or time to interact with people when asking questions, my target audience are at the business class arena. I want to share this with you. For example, I have few business ideas and we look for an investor. We cannot just advertise in a magazine or a media that I have a business idea. Is there any investors or interested? That is not the way you approach the investor. Before you wanted to catch the fish, you need to buy the boat and the net, at least from your pocket, to get into the real salt water, to taste the emmy fishes. The same way, my target audience is always at the business class. As I said, you must have your own business idea, own business thought, but identify where is your audience or where is your target audience. You won't believe, to interact to my target audience, I take a business class in Emirates. There I found Achi Masala. We saw the Achi group of hotel, Achi thing personal, MD, Achi founder. He was next to me, so I was able to interact with him by exchanging business cards to him and talking about like how you present, where you present matters, as I said earlier. He was happy to interact with me. It's all about their first impression, how you present yourself, how you present your business idea there. Then I got an appointment to chit-chat with him later after we landed, after I got back to Chennai. Was able to go to his office and have a chat with him. Not only him, I have met few startup entrepreneurs, even well established from worldwide. Just sake of talking to them. And few trips, maybe it has happened naturally. When I was on the way to my conference, I find some entrepreneurs and interacting with them. But I make sure that I forgot the movie name, like a marketing guy approaching one business guy for a business, for signing up some product or something. The business guy was very busy and he says to the marketing person, when I see you next time, I'll sign up for sure. And he takes the lift to the 4th floor. But that guy runs to the 4th floor. Before he comes out of the lift, he stands in front of him and he says that, you're seeing me the next time now. His answer was, great. I encourage you. Smart. Business is for you. This is what I learn by traveling and understanding. Again, coming to that point, asking question is, we all know that when we ask question only we learn. But when to ask and where to find and ask is what differentiates. And evaluating the final roundabout for this, the final thing is like evaluating the existing evidence. You all must have work experience or some task you must have all taken up, like even like a small volunteer task That is why many institutions, even I was studying in Loyola College, I was part of road track and social work club, because just to get an work experience, to understand the community where I belong, how they live their life, and what basis. Believe me, that time I was not much into critical thinking, thinking outside the box, all that. But later, when I able to identify my skill, that what does critical thinking is, I was able to reflect back those days that what kind of work we did at Loyola as a social cause helped me, is helping me till now. It's all about reflecting back. The technique of reflecting back is all about reflecting and asking questions how those activities which you have done at the time you were engaged there, what all you did, what you did, when you did, how the task was how you helped many through your way of approach of being a volunteer. So this is what is the dimension of critical thinking, which there is an article which says about to brush through you again on that area. Is first thing is about your self-awareness, which I spoke about, your self-evaluation and self-analysis, which is nothing else, is your SWOT. The technique of doing that, which I spoke to you, is internally and externally. There you ask question to yourself, and then understanding your mental process I spoke about is about documenting like observation skill and forecast thinking and active listening, asking questions and evaluating your previous learning or existing learnings. This is what supported me to come up something. It's not about creativity or innovation. It's not something which you can, it's not a mandatory that you have to create something new which is not even existed. You can always have a innovation from the existing product. Very, very simple example is like UK supermarkets have got self-express checkouts. For example, when we buy our groceries, we stand in a queue to bill our products. But the UK, they do it by themselves because there is an IT setup which you can scan your products and pay by yourself and you check out from that product, from the supermarket. You can even think about how that can be customized to our community people with our resources over here in India. It's not you're not going to copy pattern or copy the same idea and implementing it. It's all about how you understand your community and your market and your people, how that facility or how that idea can that be given to these people. For example, you take KFC. I don't find in their menus the rice in UK's and US and Ireland, but they have a little bit of customized to our people and they provide chicken with rice. I could see that fast moving here because we all mostly eat rice in India. So they're understanding the mentality and the community and implementing. So small innovation can only be led, or if you as a person want to be successful, there is no term called attaining successful is always a process. Like it's not a position to come and sit down saying that you're successful. It's an ongoing process that still I make sure that I learn every day and I march myself towards that. For that, you need to spend time for yourself. I'm sure that because even I can talk saying that you spend time for yourself, you do that, this. I know that because it's very tough, because understanding reading doesn't change you psychologically, that tomorrow again you will be going back to your normal schedule. Even I'm speaking today, or you're reading a book or watching a television series, it says that self-development or creativity or whatever it is. These are all the techniques, follow these techniques. There's no secrets or rocket science to be followed. It's all about, it's you. That is what I understood, that problem in the society, that people forget to take care of themselves, is what BJ 360 is all about. BJ 360 is all about personal and professional development. I give them the confidence that you can, when you try to take care of yourself, you can attain your critical thinking, or you can be a smart personality. There is no restriction for your dream. You can go to any extent. So I understood that, and I addressing that problem as an entrepreneur, as an edupreneur, educating people on taking care of themselves. I started in 2017, but earlier than that, I've been keeping as a proprietary division and working on surveys, meeting few peoples and identifying what is much needed in today's world to be a peace of mind and happiness, and also to be successful. So one thing is they lack on spending time for themselves. So how that can be addressed? So that is what I'm trying to put as a brand, as a BJ 360, connecting to most of the experts. To be specific, from personal, we focus fitness and wellness and skincare and your cleanliness and hygiene, your organizing and tidying up. We have got all of these experts within BJ 360 to address to this. And professionally, we focus on critical thinking, dynamic thinking, problem solving, leadership skills. Since I've been addressed as a CIPD program, as a Chartered Institute of Personal Development program, qualified from UK. So I took that idea and tried to implement to our community people in a very customized manner. So that is what differentiates. My concern is more related to personality development, but we don't exactly do personality development like making them sit inside the classroom and writing on the board or teaching a module or exam. No, not that way. It's all about when a person candidate, it's a one-to-one basis. When a candidate pops into me, I make him sit down and we do a self-assessment. Who is he? What he wants? What is his goal? And then I develop a PDP, personal development plan. Before that, I do as I said, the self-awareness session with him, which is called internal SWOT and external SWOT. Once I identify the real weakness, then we plan our PDP. That is nothing else called action plan. What to do, how to do, and when to do. Mostly it is going to be a practical, action-based. I take them in my car. I make them come along with me. There are a lot of pub activities, networking sessions, stranger interaction. I dropped them, even stranger interaction is the most interesting activity, which I drop them on the road. and ask them to connect to the strangers. They need to interact to the strangers. When they try to interact and when they make connection with the stranger, then they are capable of selling even a stone as a product. Even a stone can be a product, can be sold the way you present yourself. So that is what I feel. So I try to make them confident as much as possible. There are a few articles to be read on this area of creativity. It's a big, vast subject, critical thinking and creativity. Creativity can, it's still a debate that creativity can be learned as a program or not. But critical thinking has come up as a program, but it's not satisfied as a program. It's just a theory session. It's not going to help anyone to be a critical thinker. I'm sure that you are all part of a SRM community where I have heard a lot about SRM, that they have coming up with a lot of innovative methods of learning. I'm very sure that being a student, and I get the nostalgic moment of us being a student in UK. They're bringing professionals from outside and making them to interact with us. So same way the SRM has been taken a big step of bringing many entrepreneurs, edupreneurs, industry leaders, corporate leaders. It's a great learning. So on that note, I'm really proud to add an opportunity to interact or share my views on this area. And thank you. Thank you all for your patience to listen.
So thank you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you.
Sir, in
Yes,
case if the participants are having any clarifications, would you be willing to clarify some of it?
Yes, if they are willing to talk or if they are finding this is as interesting thing, they can just talk to me if they are.
Participants, we'll open the chat box. The chat box is already open. You can either type in out there or you can unmute yourself and you can ask questions if you have. Or if there are any questions in the YouTube, Lavanya, you can just tell us. Because people are also watching in the YouTube. So if there is anything in the YouTube, you can tell us.
Sure, ma'am.
Anybody? Nandana says, sir, it was a very informative session. Varsha's there. Varsha's one person who will normally ask questions. Is Varsha, are you there, Varsha? I saw you.
No problem. Even it can be a simple question. Very, very silly question also, it's not a problem. You can just always have an interaction with me to get to know further.
If somebody wants to unmute.
When you can find me on Facebook and Instagram, and you can even drop in your questions there as well when you find time.
So there's a question in the YouTube.
Question in the YouTube.
Yeah. So,
okay.
Yeah, there's another question. I have a doubt, sir. In your PDP session, do you convert the weakness into strength?
Yes, it's a good question because that is what most of our candidates from BJ360 always expect. That, as I told you, this question was asked by, if I'm not wrong, it's Nandini, yeah?
It was asked by Nandana, yeah, Nandana.
Nandana. Yes, as I told you earlier, it's not a classroom set of Nandana. It's all about a practical approach of learning that we take you to the social world it's not randomly taking to the social world. First, when we analyze your credentials, like your strength, weakness, we get to know that what kind of a training program is essentially needed for you to develop yourself or attain your goal. So on that note, it will be customized training program. It's not a group class, as I told, the one-on-one basis. So every training program will be customized according to your need and wants. So what happens is then when it's specifically targeted, when it's one-on-one basis, then you easily develop your skill and make your weakness into strength. And to get more clarity on this, so when you get on to floor with me, so you will understand it in a more practical manner. And Nandana, we even do free one-on-one sessions initially to understand about BJ360's training methods. You're always welcome to meet me in person and get to know more so that you'll have a clear picture about what is your expectation and what is all so and so. Thank you, Nandana.
Thank you. How can we customize a training program when we have a large audience?
Yes, it's a very
from one of our professors.
Yes, very good. Very good question. Even my tutor from UK asked me that, Balaji, now as of now, you're doing it for a startup, you're doing it for 4 or 5 candidates. Then how it happens when there is a lot of people coming to you and asking for your program or a service? My idea of thought about this is all about quality and branding. For example, if I have an allocation of only 10 people for one-on-one training, 11th person comes in, he needs to wait for his slot. We cannot accommodate, as you said, a large audience at a time. They need to wait for the slot. If only there is a quality, they would try to wait. To be more specific on this area, if a person wants to study a specific program in a specific institution, he tries for that to get the admission in that specific institution because he strongly believes that if I study that specific program in that specific institution is going to change my career or my lifestyle. The same way, my brand BJ360, we create an impression to the audience that even you wait is going to make you worth. So we don't compromise on the quality, like taking up large audience and messing up with their development. Hope you get my answered.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir. I think somebody wanted to ask some question.
Thank you, Pradesh.
Yes.
Sir, good evening.
Good evening.
My name is Ranjit.
Yes, Ranjit, please.
Sir, can you just give us a small tip, 1 or 2 tips, how to keep us in a positive mentality and how to keep us motivated all the times?
Okay, it's a very, very, very much needed thing at the moment. To me, what I do to be positive is most of them, the psychological report recently I've read that when you are able to do things on your own, for example, when you go for a shopping alone or when you go to a movie alone, you spend time for yourself. But people sometimes expect a companion to join with them. So what happens is even when you start depending on others for even your task of doing your task, then it becomes you completely depend on others. That brings a stress on your lifestyle. So start practicing to step of doing things or activities on your own. For example, waking up in the morning and going to gym or walk or whatever it is, try to do it on by yourself. When you spend more lonely time for yourself, you get to think more positive energy and most positive things. and also get to meet people, the area of your interest. So you generate more of positivity and the motivation. Maybe your interest may be, if you want to be a web designer or a game designer, or if you want to be a social activist, try to get engage with those professional peoples might encourage you and keep you in a positive phase, rather than going and getting diverted to another field and interacting with them and wasting time. If you find people related to your industry and making an appointment with them or sit down with them, having coffee with them, makes you a positive person and motivating. That is what I normally engage myself towards positivity and motivation.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Ranjit.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for clarifying the queries. The participants, you can get in touch with our resource person through Facebook or Instagram. Ranjit, you can take over, Ranjit.
Yes, ma'am. Yes.
Yeah. You just inform the participants about the feedback link and then hand it over.
Sure. Before we move on, there is an announcement for all the participants. The feedback form will be shared to all the participants, and the e-certificates will be dispatched within a day or two after the submission of the feedback form. Gratitude makes sense of your past, brings peace for today, and creates a vision for tomorrow. To express a sincere gratitude for the successful conduct of Acharya, I invite Mrs. V. Mohanasundari, Faculty, Department of Management Studies, to propose the vote of thanks.
Good evening to one and all present here. Gratitude is the most elegant form of courtesy. Distinguished speaker, my dear faculty and participants from various backgrounds. It's a great honor to thank all who have helped us in making this webinar a resounding success. No event comes together without the support of a vast network of people. First of all, I'd like to thank our speaker, Mr. Balaji Jairaj, founder PJ360, for gracing today's webinar. It was very interesting and thought-provoking, and it was in fact helping people to go ahead with something different that is required for today's scenario. I would like to express our profound gratitude to our Dean, Dr. K. Tuivelu, SRM IST, Vadapalani campus, for his support in organizing this program. I would also thank our HOD, Dr. S. Keshavan, for the moral support he gives thoroughly to all the programs we organize under this banner of MDP. And actually, this is our second session after we have come out with the banner of MDP, Management Development Program. I would also thank the organizing team, the faculty members and student coordinators who have supported us throughout planning and executing the program. Once again, I thank all of you for your cordial cooperation. Thank you. Over to Ranjit.
Thank you, ma'am.
Gayatri ma'am, please unmute yourself, ma'am.
Gayatri ma'am, can we wind up the session?
Gayatri ma'am, it's in mute, ma'am.
Yeah, sorry. No, I just wanted to say Dr. Satya Prasad is here, given in the comment box, that very interesting session. Thank you, Satya Prasad sir. Sir, thank you, Balaji sir. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Being with us.
Thank you for the opportunity. Thanks, everyone. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, sir.
Thanks.
Mohanasundari, YouTube cut பண்ணிடுறீங்களா? YouTube
ma'am, நான் sir கிட்ட சொல்லிடுறேன் ma'am. நான் sir கிட்ட சொல்லிடுறேன்.
We'll wait for the participants to take the the feedback link, and then we will leave. Participants, thank you so much. Please fill in the feedback link. The certificates will be distributed to you will be sent to your mail ID either by today or by tomorrow morning. Feedback link is already there here, as well as Lavanya, please post the feedback link in the YouTube also if people are there.
Ma'am, in
Ma'am,
YouTube
already
only.
posted.
Yes, okay.
Already post
Fine.
பண்ணியாச்சு ma'am.
சரிம்மா, thank you ma'am. Once you have done it, participants, you can leave. Thank you so much. Thank you. We'll wait for 2 minutes before we wind up. Before we disconnect the call, let the participants take the feedback link.
நான் fill பண்ணிட்டேம்மா காயத்ரி.
ஓகேம்மா.
Ma'am, Gayatri ma'am.
சொல்லுங்க சார்.
Ma'am, how to get it from the YouTube?
சொல்லுங்க சார்.
Actually.
என்ன சார் புரியல?
I'm actually in the YouTube and I'm not able to find the link for giving feedback.
லாவண்யா.
Ma'am, posted ma'am. ஒரு நிமிஷம் இருங்க ma'am, செக் பண்ணி பார்க்கறேன்.
சார் நீங்க இங்க இருக்கு சார், chat boxல பாருங்க.
இல்ல அவர் YouTubeல இருக்காரா?
அவர் YouTubeல இருக்காரா?
ஆமா.
Ma'am.
Okay. I think
ma'am அது அருண்மேரு சார் தான் பண்ண முடியும்னு நினைக்கிறேன்.
சரி, ஓகே. சாருக்கு நம்ம தனியா லிங்க் அனுப்பிடலாம். சார், we will send it to you personally, sir.
Okay ma'am, thank you ma'am.
Yeah.
மேம் நம்ம இப்போ செஷன் க்ளோஸ் பண்ணா ஃபீட்பேக் லிங்க் ஆட்டோமேட்டிக்கலி க்ளோஸ் ஆகுமா?
இல்ல நான் அது
அது க்ளோஸ் ஆகுமா? டைம் வச்சிருக்கியா லாவண்யா?
மேம் ஒரு 1 hour மேம்.
1 hour வச்சிருக்கியா? சரி, அப்ப நம்ம க்ளோஸ் பண்ணிக்கலாமா?
அம்மா காயத்ரி மேம் ஒரே ஒரு நிமிஷம். anyhow we are here. ஹெச்ஓடி சார் இருக்காரா?
இருக்காருன்னு தான் நினைக்கிறேன். ஆமா இருக்காரு.
அந்த கான்ஃபரன்ஸ் ஜர்னல் நீங்க பாத்தீங்களா தானே?
ஜர்னல் நான் பார்க்கல, நீங்க பாத்துட்டீங்கன்னு சொன்னாங்க. நான் இன்னும் அந்த மெயில் பார்க்கல. பிரபாஸ்
நான் பாத்துட்டேன், நல்லதா இருக்கு. 10K சொல்றாங்க. Can we ask for 8K-யா?
Will they give?
Shall we want?
Last year it was 8,000 ma. This year all of them are charging only 10,000.
Okay.
There is nothing wrong. We can ask.
If that is decided, then we can start advertising on the basis of the journal also. நமக்கு நிறைய papers வரும்.
We'll ask Prabhadevi to find out, but I don't think they will give. If they give, fine.
See, the number of papers that come will be higher, no? It is not just 1 or 2 papers. It is not individual basis.
But anyway, one thing we have to ensure, how many ever authors, it's only one publication fees, right?
அது ensure பண்ணனும். அது கண்டிப்பா ensure பண்ணனும்.
It is
because many people, what they do, 3 people join பண்ணி, they will publish so that the price will come down.
That is what.
So it is article based pricing, not individual based pricing.
Author based. Only article based. That we have to ensure.
Adi can ensure.
Already people have started. Asking about the journal.
Yeah. There was a lady from Pondicherry yesterday.
Many of them. Because we are not charging for the conference, so they want to know what is the publication fee and where in which journal and all those things. So we will tell them.
So நம்ம இது journal finalize பண்ணிட்டோம்னா Mondayல இருந்து we'll start putting and we'll abstract time more 10 days இது பண்ணிடலாம்.
We'll extend till September 15th or 20th for abstract. September end for the paper.
அதுதான்.
Anyway,
because இப்போ அந்த journal finalize ஆயிடுச்சு.
We'll extend, not an issue. We'll have a meeting on Monday, ma'am.
Other ma'am, need to have
duty allocation because certificates we need to get ready, inauguration we need to get ready, then sessions and all we have to divide, so that we will decide on Monday. We'll have a meeting and we'll decide.
Okay ma'am. Okay.
Thank you.
Right ma'am.
Thank you ma'am. Bye.
Leave ma'am then.
Shall we close, ma'am?
Yeah, we'll close off ma'am.
Sir, close பண்ணிக்கலாமா?
Okay.
HOD sir.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you, sir. Mohan Sundari close பண்ணிக்கிறீங்களா? யார் host? நந்தினி.
Yes, ma'am. Nandini ma'am இருக்காங்க, நானும் இருக்கேன், ma'am.
சரி, நீ close
Yes,
பண்ணிக்கோங்க.
ma'am. Close பண்ணிடுறோம், ma'am.
Bye, Mama. Bye, Nandini.
Bye, ma'am.
Good night, Ajodi sir.
Good night, sir.
Lavanya,
Thank you,
Shibu, thank you.
Rasida ma'am, நானும் இருக்கேன் உள்ள.
ஏய், நான் உன் மோகனா சொன்னேன் ஃபர்ஸ்ட். நீ எனக்கு இங்க கேட்க where will you listen to me?
கஷ்டப்பட்டு ஒரு பிளேஸ
அந்த
கண்டுபிடிச்சு
ஸ்டூடெண்ட் லிசன் பண்ண மாட்டாங்க, இங்க கொல்லிகள் லிசன் பண்ண மாட்டாங்க, என்ன பண்றது?
My Realme 6 has entered the meeting room. Anyway, we are closing.
Okay, pa. Bye.
Close பண்றோம். Bye, bye, bye.
Meeting end பண்றேன்,
Thank you,
ma'am.
thank you, bye. end பண்ணிடுங்க.
மேம் யூடியூப்ல க்ளோஸ் பண்ணு மேம், நீ ரிமைண்ட் பண்ணிருங்க.
அம்மா யூடியூப்ல க்ளோஸ் பண்ண. மோகன் சுந்தரி.
Ma'am, அது
கால் பண்ணி சொல்றேன்.
சொல்லி பண்ணணும்ல.
மேம் அது நான் சார் கால் பண்ணி எடுக்கல, வாட்ஸ்அப்ல போட்டுட்டேன் அவருக்கு. சார் ப்ரோகிராம்
சரி
ஸ்டார்ட் தி ஸ்ட்ரீமிங் போட்டேன்.
ஓகேமா லாவண்யா,
பண்ண முடியாதா?
மேம் சார் ரொம்ப பிஸி மேம், எப்பவுமே ஃபோன் பண்ணா எடுக்க மாட்டார் மேம்.
Okay, ma'am. Bye.
Bye.
Gayatri madam.
Hello. Tell me, sir, Prasad, sir, how are you? Yes, sir, I can hear you. Tell me, sir.
Fine.
How are you, sir? Sir, there's some disturbance in your audio.
How many seats are there, madam, in your institution?
Sir, I'm not
fine,
able to
madam.
hear.
Fine.
Yes, sir. Tell me, sir.
How many MBA seats are there, madam, in your institute?
Sir, I'm not able to hear you properly, sir.
This I'm asking, how many MBA seats are there, madam, in your institute?
We have
MBA intake. I'm asking about intake. Intake of MBA.
180, sir. 3 sections, 180 students.
3 sections, 180. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Is there any set, madam? Is there any set organized by the Tamil Nadu government for your admission? Or your individual joining, admissions, sir?
We have our own admission test, sir. We have our own entrance test.
Very good.
Entrance test.
Okay,
we have
okay.
our own SRM entrance test.
Acha, SRM entrance test. Okay.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
The basic qualification is any degree.
Any UG degree, minimum 60%, sir.
Yes, sir. In Andhra Pradesh, we have also the same rules and regulations, madam.
Okay, sir.
Okay. Wow, wonderful seminar, madam.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank
Now,
you. Thank you.
your organizing skills, your response is very nice. I have been observing your webinars. Your response is very nice, madam.
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you very much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much.
Okay.
Thank you. Okay.
Ma'am, I'm ending the meeting, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.